This is not how I imagined my first day.
For those people who are interested in the Resident Evil soundtrack, there is some information about Resident Evil 2's OST, the composer, as well as how it's going to tie into the actual environments. So let me bring this quote up from one of the developers anyway. RE2 has some pretty iconic music, but the series has used music in different ways in recent years, especially in RE7 and in the more action-focused entries. How are you handling it here in the remake? Now I'm going to butcher his name, but Tsuyoshi Kanda did say, in terms of how we approach the audio and music this time around, I think a very important element in a franchise like this is making sure that players feel as much immersion as possible. With Resident Evil 7 trying to build as much immersion and tension as possible, what we'd do was, because RE7 was a first person perspective, we'd pay more attention to the type of sounds that you'd hear around you. So people who played Resident Evil 7 will be very familiar with that. You kinda always had the thought that even when you heard atmospheric environmental sounds, that it was actually an enemy. And the dev goes on to reinforce this by saying audio that you'd actually hear in the world, in the surrounding environments. Sometimes there'd be music too in order to build the tension though. If there was a moment where we didn't want players to know what was ahead of them, we'd mute the audio cues to really ramp up the tension. So it looks like, based on this wording here, at least from what I can see, they're going for a much more atmospheric approach like Resident Evil 7, where if a lot of people will be surprised to hear, if you type up Resident Evil 7 OST, there is actually a lot of soundtracks to do with it. However, in Resident Evil 7, you kind of don't remember any too much music except for the safe room, to be honest. And other than that, the main menu maybe, which was, I think, the same theme. But it looks like they might be going for the same approach in Resident Evil 2's remake, trying to put down the audio cues via music and up the atmosphere and immersion so that you constantly feel in terror. And here's a few examples of that right here. Now, as you can see from these examples, it looks like they're focusing more on the atmosphere. If you do go back and pay close attention, you can actually hear some kind of eerie OST in the background, but it's more to set up the environmental noises so that you completely feel surrounded in, and that like an enemy can pop out from any angle, and that you're constantly in tension and terror. And you very much get that vibe if you actually go back, and you can see how the OST change really does reflect the kind of atmosphere you're going to be going through. It reminds me more of how Dead Space decided to try to handle their game, and it ended up going very well. Now, for those who do want to play with the soundtrack that is very immersive anyway, because I know music is important to a lot of people, especially fans of the original Resident Evil 2, there will be various ways to get it, such as through ordering the digital deluxe edition. However, I assume there'll probably be a way to get the OST as a DLC purchase by itself as well. Anyway guys, I just hope you've enjoyed the video and learned something new. If you did, please leave a like and a subscribe, and also share the video out there. It would really help me grow. And as always, I just hope you're having a beautiful day. Take it easy and peace.